Good evening. This is the Rochester Board of Education business meeting. The date is June 29th. I am President Cynthia Elliott, here to open the meeting, and I'd like to call this meeting to order with the act of reverence, with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of those who want to acknowledge it. I'm going to ask that we all stand, and I'm going to have our student board member to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so very much. We now have the next item on the agenda. And let me just, before we start, we've got some students from the University of Rochester's Urban Fellows Program. And why don't you all stand? And, we all had a conversation with you this evening. And we'd just like you to stand and be recognized. Thank you for coming. Remember to consider Rochester and to stay in Rochester. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is that we have some special board recognitions that we would like to offer. And so I'm going to ask that we all actually come down to the front, and we're going to provide the special recognitions to few of our dedicated workers in this district. So if you all can join me, commissioners. So we have some folk who are with the Rochester City School District who've been here quite a long time, who are now leaving. And as I mentioned when we were at the reception, things have to change. And it's always a sad time when we've had dedicated employees who've gone over and beyond the call of duty. And really, it's just something that they do. It's just something that they do for the love of the children and the love of the families in our community, and them wanting to make a difference in the lives of our children too. There's a scripture that says, to whom much is given, much is required, and they've been given much, and they have shared much with our community and the school district. So this first person I want to acknowledge is someone that, we've had our little issues. I being on the board and he being a union person, but he's been in this community and this district a very long time, supporting his members, which is the Bente Union, and fighting for his members. And, we fighting for, our staff and the students. And, that's what you do. There's unions, and then there's the board and the superintendent. And so, we come to the table knowing that we've got to negotiate. And so I believe that he has done this on behalf of his members so that they can Dan DiClemente. And I want to just read this award for Dan. It is in grateful appreciation the Rochester City School District and Board of Education hereby recognizes Daniel DiClemente for his selfless leadership and valuable contribution to the students, families, and employees of the Rochester City School District, doing service as a maintenance mechanic from March 8, 1983 through September 2002, and then elected trustee of the AFSCME, that is AFSCME/Bente, BENTE, Local 2419, September 2000 to September, we've got 2002. I don't know if that's correct. Yeah. Is that correct? But in any event, and then president of that particular same union, 2419, September 2002 to June 30th, 2023. And it is with great honor, Dan, that we ask you to come up and to thank you for your service. And if you have any words, please share them with us.
All I can say is that this district, gets knocked around a lot in the press and everywhere else. And I can tell you that I've supported my family, sent 2 girls to college, and have had a great career here. It gave me a purpose when I didn't really have one when I was younger, getting involved in the union to try to protect the rights of people that I cannot say enough about in this district. They do thankless jobs every day to make sure that everything's running, and you really don't notice them until something goes wrong. And, our members are the backbone of this district. I'll always believe that, and I'll always fight for them no matter where I am, and fight for working people everywhere. And I do believe that, a lot of the kids that come from the school district become members of ours. So, a lot of them live in the city, they work in these communities, and I can't say enough about them. And I can't say enough about the district giving me an opportunity when I was a kid and I would have been a maintenance mechanic for 30 years if I didn't get elected president. I would have worked here for 30 years. I have a pension, I have health care, and I can tell you that with some recent health challenges, without my health care, I wouldn't be here right now, period. So, I want to thank everybody for this acknowledgement, but the people I really want to acknowledge are my members and the people who work for this school district every day, day in and day out, and try to make it a better place for the kids who come here. So thanks, everybody.
Where he at? Where's Dr. Nelms? In the corner?
No, he left.
Did Dr. Nelms leave? Oh, I'll give him a call. But we had an earlier celebration that we recognize these recipients in a little reception area, so he may not have known that he was going to get this award. But in any event, we want to honor Dr. Sean Nelms, who without his leadership, we would not have East in the position that it is in today, and we thank him for that very much. I mean, it started off, it was not the school to attend. People did not want to attend that school, but now Sean has elevated it to the point where now people, in particular people who I know want to choose East. And so it is to his leadership and then the work that his staff has done. And we just want to acknowledge him, and I'll call him to make sure that he gets this award. But let me just read it if I may. In grateful appreciation, the Rochester City School District and Board of Education hereby recognizes Dr. Sean Nelms, ED, for his exceptional leadership and valuable contribution to the students and families of the Rochester City School District. doing service as social studies teacher, August 1999 through August 2000, chief of schools, July 2010 through January 13th, and the East EPO superintendent, March 2015 through June 30th, 2023. So if you could just give a round of applause in honor of Dr. Mims. And then I think lastly, because the other recipient is not here, but we will acknowledge him. Is Mike still here?
Yep, he's here. Come on down, Mike.
You know, Mike has been, the superintendent had mentioned that Mike's been here through a number of superintendents. You know, he's been here 10 years, and nobody has been around in administration for 10 years, but Mike has. And Mike has done that kind of work that is the difficult work. You know, when we've lost children, he's been in his car out to find the children that we've lost and brought them home. When we talked about making sure that every child who may even live within the 1.5 eligibility limit threshold, we still needed to get those kids to school because, as I mentioned a story downstairs, you know, there was a family who lived on 6th Street but was placed, one of their children were placed at 36th School, and certainly that was a 1.5, within the 1.5 threshold, but they needed transportation or those students were not going to be in school. And we were getting a number of calls from families who could not, were under the threshold, but needed transportation or their children were not going to be going to school. Mike made that happen. I got no more calls from our parents or any parents needed transportation. And so that's to Mike's credit that we were able to get our students on the bus. And I would also say, because they did come to school, that increased our attendance, and they were able to be in school to learn. And so Mike Schmidt and his team did that. We also have to talk about, and I'll look to Commissioner Ricardo Adams about the food service and the food. And we've now got, you know, our students are, you know, saying positive things about our food. Mike Schmidt helped to do that. And we just appreciate all that he has been able to do. Also serving on the Facilities Modernization Board, which is a $1.5 billion project. And you've seen some of the schools that have been built over the last 10 years. Chief Smith has been involved and part responsible for the building of our renovation of our schools. And so it is with great appreciation, Chief Smith, that the Rochester City School District and Board of Education hereby recognizes you, Michael Smith, for your outstanding leadership, dedication, and unconditional commitment while serving the students and families of the Rochester City School District as Chief Operating Officer, November 12th, 2012 through June 29th, 2023. Mike, congratulations and thank you. You want to say a few words? Say this, Mike is also one of the best dressed people in the district. I just got to say that. I've never said that before. But he's one of the best dressed in the district.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. All the success that that President Elliott and the board has mentioned has really nothing to do with me. It's my team. Tom Casa, Jim Shepard, Stacy Darby, Aaron Groutman, Ben DeLay, Akine, David Brown. Team Ops is really led by them, and I can't thank them enough. Excuse me, I promise not to do this. My colleagues on cabinet who put up with me and all my nonsense, I cannot thank them enough for that. And not just the current ones, but all the ones that I've worked for the past 10 years. As I said to them the other day, this is by far the most cohesive group of cabinet members that I've worked with, and they truly get it. They love each other, and they truly love the kids, and everybody's very fortunate to have them as leaders. And to Dr. Peluso, we've been friends, and I can't thank you enough for your trust in me, and I appreciate it very much. and to the Board of Education. I'm 2,300 in my resolutions, and we're not going to vote any down tonight. But no, seriously, thank you very much for your trust in me, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think we're taking a picture. We take a picture.
This is the first time I've seen him seen tears. And we have one more, and then we'll get on to the business. We have a employee. He was the what was his homeschool assistant that did. And I saw it on the news. I had never met Carl. At least I don't believe I had, but had made 10,000 home visits. You know, that's dedication. He has made 10,000 home visits. Somehow he made the news about it. I don't know if he was one of the Apple Award, but I do remember seeing it on the news. You know, that's dedication. And, you know, our neighborhoods are not that good. And, you know, sometimes, you know, when somebody comes to the house, they'll say, well, who is it? You know, so you got to deal with that kind of reaction at times, and perhaps not being at home sometimes. You have to listen to, you may have to hear somebody say, get that off my porch, you know, those kinds of things. And so to have someone like Mr. Goss to be that dedicated to have 10,000 home visits. That is totally amazing, and it just speaks to his dedication to our kids, and wanted to make sure that our kids are in school and that they are learning, because you can't really learn unless you're in school. And so him getting that and him doing that on behalf of our district is highly commendable. And I just want to read this, and I understand that he's not here, but that there's someone who will receive this and make sure that he gets this. So in general appreciation, the Rochester City School District and Board of Education hereby recognizes Carl Goss for his unwavering dedication and commitment to improving student attendance in the Rochester City School District, doing service as parent liaison and homeschool assistant from April 5th, 1999 to June 23rd, 2020. And so just give him a round of applause in his absence. And so I understand that there's someone that's going to receive it in his stead. And if there are words that he's, you know, relayed to you to share, please share those words with us. Let me just put this in here for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Carl did retire last Thursday. I do want to share that we have spoken on the phone every day since. We do have that close of a relationship, but that speaks to the relationship that he formed with our families in this community. And he set the bar very high for the attendance department, and we will strive to reach as high as that we can get. He is unbelievable. So I'm going to bring this out to him, and this meant a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So now that concludes that portion of the agenda, and we'll go to the next portion of the agenda.
Is that you, baby?
You can. Is he still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Okay, let me just, you could have had, Dan, you still here? Yeah. So Dan, before we get started, Ricardo would like to express a few words as well.
So I'd like to express a few words about all three of people that are leaving. Mike Smith allowed me to come to him out of care and concern about students and staff without making me feel guilty like I was micromanaging. You know what I'm saying? He just always handled the issue. And I really thank him for that. Dan, people around here giving me credit for getting the SSOs, the $4 raise, but you the one deserve all that credit because you the one got on my last nerve about it. You know what I'm saying? You did. And so you tried every technique. If making me feel guilty didn't work, you sweeten it up. You put your muscle game down, but you really fought for your people. And I just wish all of our staff around here would fight for these students the way you fight for the people that you're responsible for. And I appreciate and love you very much for that, man. And last but not least, I got to say to Sean Nelms, he's changed East to the point where I got my two daughters over there. That's how good it's gotten. And so I want to say thank you to him. And that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next item on the agenda is upcoming Board of Education events. Rahima?
Yes. Good evening, community commissioners. For July 2023, we have a shortened agenda, and so we recognize it as summertime and encourage people to enjoy the outdoors and break. With that being said, there will be 2 board meetings in July. We will hold a special meeting on Tuesday, July 11th at 5:30 for the consideration of resolutions. And then on July 27th, we will have the hearing, the public hearing preceding the board meeting for the contract for excellence. That will begin at 6 p.m. Those wishing to speak may sign up using public hearing at rcsdk12.org. Please note that there is a 30-day comment period, which will open on July 12th and close on August 11th. Then we will follow that meeting up with our board business meeting at 6:30 p.m., and that will conclude the meetings for the month of January. Please note that you can view the Board of Education calendar online, and those who are wishing to speak at any board meeting may do so by contacting our office at 262-8525 or emailing the Board of Education at rcsdk12.org by noon on the day of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. And so the next item of agenda, we don't have any minutes at this time. So the next item on the agenda is speakers addressing the Board of Education, and we have a couple of speakers. The first one is Kajuna Adams. Yeah. Kajuna? Okay, she's not here, so the next person to speak is Mahina Napier.
Ms. Napier, you'll have 3 minutes once you begin.
Does it work? Okay. Hello. My name is Mahina Napier, and I'm a student of the RCSD. I'm in 11th grade, and for the past 2.5 years, we've had complications regarding to the homeschool department. As of when the school year started of 2022, me and my mother, and sometimes my sister Nepka, we would go down to the RCSD and ask for, presumably, what is our progress with the RCSD and our homeschool progress. Me and my mother, we have been given numbers on numbers on numbers, and they said they will call us back. They've never. They have given us recommendations for people. They said they would email us. We've never gotten emails. They said they would send us letters through the Postal Service, American Postal Service. we've never gotten the mail. The package, we've never gotten from, you have? Yeah, the IHEP. We've never gotten that for the past 3 years. No progress. Hold on. I am seeking the progress. Me and my sister have been seeking the progress of homeschool. We've never gotten the progress. We've never gotten the statement. I've also have been given that they said they would put me in summer school. And that was last year. I was excited to go to summer school. They said they would call us. I waited for June, July, August, nothing. Then I waited for starting September of the school year. I've never gotten progress. I've never gotten callbacks. My mother has never gotten calls saying that there would be progress. This year, I said that I would go to summer school. They said that that would be fine, everything would be set up, clear, good. Nothing has happened. I went on the RCSD, K-12.org website. I looked up things for the summer school progress. If I wouldn't have looked up anything, I wouldn't have known that summer school registration would be June 26 to June 27. Nothing. They said they would call us. They first gave us East High School. Then they gave us the Wilson from placement. Nobody has called us. I don't know, presumably, if this was discrimination against me being an American Indian of the Anishinaabe people, but I have never gotten anything, and it's making me frustrated. And I've been feeling sad that thinking it was on my mother's part, that nothing has happened. But it's not fully my mother's part, and it's not at all.
Thank you. Would your mom like to speak? Yes. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Again, I'm natural parent Lisa Morris. Since 2019, I do believe Jean Orzak retired. Since her retirement, we have not experienced any professionalism from the Rochester City School District employees, staff, miscommunication, no communication. I've been communicating via telephone, United States Postal Service, certified mail. My return receipts from the certified mail have not been returned from the Rochester City School District. No one chooses to sign them. So we're seeking to have my two daughters to graduate from high school, plain and simple. And the Rochester City School District homeschool office, Jean Orzak, the director, she is the one that gave me the information about homeschool. I liked what I heard, and I accepted. I had no problems under Jean Orzak. I received certified documents, no problem. Constant communication, no problem. After she retired, that was it, okay? My eldest daughter, Nefka Napier, she became ill in late 2020, and she's gaining her strength now. She was in her senior year when she became ill. So I sought support from the Rochester City School District. What can we do to get her graduated after she regained her strength, okay? Right now, she's being treated for trauma after her illness, okay? So I sought out Rochester City School District, keep miscommunication, no communication. Like I said last year, like my daughter said last year, the deputy superintendent was supposed to assist in getting my daughter through summer school. She took the information, didn't hear anything else from her. I kept communicating, no one returned call, no letters returned. I then stated that Rochester City School District is unable to send letters to my place of residence in the 19th Ward. We're having trouble with the mail. So I asked the deputy superintendent last year, can we please send it to my P.O. box? That is the only way that I'm going to receive the communication. And we're getting no progress.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda. Thank you, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the advisory council reports, and so I'm going to ask David to report on behalf of the Student Advisory Council. David?
Hi. I'd just like to quickly apologize if I look a little disheveled or a little off the rockers. I've been going at it since 6 a.m., so apologies for that. My name is David Bouillon. I, as of now, in September, will be a 12th grader at Rochester Early College International High School. And the Student Leadership Congress did not meet this June. However, that never stops our young leaders from continuing to be breathtaking in every right. Before I get into this very lengthy report, I would like to congratulate Hazel Roberts on her re-election as Vice President and myself, David Bouillon, for re-election as President. We are so excited to serve our district again, and I would like to affirm our stances and say on record that we are no longer riding on training wheels, but here to root some deep seeds to empower well-deserved change in the district. The Student Leadership Congress is hungry for empowerment, and we are diligent in our efforts to continue our mission and vision. In continuing our mission, we are in urgent need of board approval of our SLC bylaws that we submitted a while back, so that our bylaws may be cemented in board policy to continue this great initiative. I would now like to express some of my own statements and concerns. I would also like to add that these are not some throwaway statements. These are real, truthfully constructed, and I want to be heard and listened to on behalf of the students of the Rochester City School District. On June 16th, I was invited to an anti-gun violence discussion. It was a 2-day panel with day 2 focusing on violence in schools and students. You would think that with an issue pertaining to students, there would be more than one student on the panel of 14 adults. I was instructed with gathering some students for this event. However, the accessibility of this event being at 8 a.m. on a Friday with school still in session, reading exams happening, no close-by bus routes, and an event being in a church that everyone may not feel welcome in, students and parents weren't too keen on coming, especially when half the event consisted of adults who have not been in our schools for a very long time. Worst of all was the level of disrespect and lack of sympathy of the audience. The panel of mostly proponents of bringing police into schools believe that apparently police are a solution to violence and a way to build relationships. We will have them wear polos. They can build relationships with students. Well, do you already know who does that? Our school SSOs, who have been pleading for support. However, support isn't putting a good person with a gun into our school. And so the person I won't name, who said in the same sentence that we should also consider adding police into our elementary schools and middle schools to ensure we don't make our students statistics, are we going to arrest our kids for coloring out the lines? Where do we draw the line? And I must say how ironic it is for someone on the panel to say how they know students more than anyone else on the panel and saying no offense as if I'm not a student in school with friends from all walks of life. These friends reach out to me constantly for advice or just someone to listen to them. And after me telling my story on my own brother who has been incarcerated at a young age and has never finished 1 year of high school, and the pain and trauma we have from the times of dealing with the RPD, to being told that, well, when I was in school, my friends and I didn't act up because the SRO scared us. When students are afraid of something, that doesn't mean they stop doing that thing. That means they walk in the halls with fear and insecurity. What it means is they move it elsewhere. They move it to the street. They move it where only the news, greeting families, and a quiet body bag preaches their name. But don't take it from me. Take it from one of my friends who said, when my mom was home, my brother was scared to go out, knowing his mom would not sleep watching over him. But when she would finally sleep, my brother would sneak out and hang out with friends. He didn't tell anyone where he was. He was scared of being locked up again, so he didn't tell anyone what he was doing either. But the hospital told his mom when they found him on a brick wall, slumped over after overdosing on fentanyl. But this wasn't my friend's story. This was mine. In the past year, I learned that fear is not a tactic to teach. We cannot be reactionary to urgent problems out of fear. An oxymoron, I know, but urgent problems need real solutions, real systematic solutions. Solutions that don't involve putting our students in situations where they're in fear. The solution of violence in schools is not an easy one, but it starts with compassion and listening. It starts with supporting our SSOs. It starts with creating solutions to problems and not suspending our kids, most of which are with active IEPs, who don't receive the support they need in ISS. Students who time and time again are suspended because they are so far behind academically, they give up. Students at a very young age were labeled the troublemakers or the bad kids. It starts with supporting families and not blaming systematic issues on the people who, let's be real, experience life. It starts with not taking away the voice from our children. It starts with empowering them to be better for themselves. It starts with us, trickling down knowledge from the knowledge tree in order to provoke change. I said this on the quote on the panel, and I'd like to say it again. When you're born in a burning house, you think the whole world is on fire, but it's not. We need to realize that just because we were burning houses before doesn't mean we have to treat every house like it's burning. I would also like to apologize if I've come off as abrasive tonight, but being voiceless in a discussion about students and topics pertaining to me and my peers made me angry and frustrated. Actually, I'm not sorry. I would like to retract my apology. I'm not sorry at all, because I won't apologize for doing what is right for students. But I'd like to thank Rebecca Harrington. She was my wingman in all of this, and when I was angry and huffing, she was cool as a cucumber, and mic dropped every time she spoke. If you thought I was done, I'm not. Segueing into voice, I must say that I worry that the Student Leadership Congress is in trouble. This group of talent was fostered by Tony Jordan, who has since left the district. And with Annie Marie Panpinto and Maurice Haskins taking the reins and being incredible help, they too are also leaving. One is a retired English teacher just here to support student voice, another an employee at the district who also cares about student voice. But with these people gone, who will take the reins of SLC? I'm a leader, but I'm not a machine. We are not machines. We need guidance and oversight from an adult who can help oversee operations. We need the help of the district to demonstrate that you truly believe in SLC. I'm not sure what you're going to do, but you need to act fast. I hate this. I really hate this whole setup, if I'm being honest, because somehow with all the voice, I still feel voiceless, because it doesn't feel as though we are being heard and taken seriously. Our mission and vision is on a chopping block, and no one has reached out. No one has cared. I would like to not hear O's or buts, because care is action and word. So let's all care together about our students and act and keep our words. With that, I would like to leave this in a non-apologetic, serious tone. So if I haven't done that then you know what I was going for. I would like to, before I turn it over, thank deeply Tony Jordan, Maurice Haskins, Annie Marie Panpinto, and Kelly Briggs, and to everyone else who was in support and a torch carrier for this initiative. And even if it's the last SLC report to exist, at least it was a kick-ass, continue, unapologetic document. Thank you, family, staff, and most importantly, the students. We will continue to support you, hear you, and be activists for change and leaders. Thank you all, and enjoy your summer. I look forward to having our SLC members collaborate closely with the board for the upcoming school year, continuing to put student voice first. Thank you.
Thank you, David. You know, I just want to just acknowledge the Student Leadership Congress, because you all do phenomenal work, and you are one of those gems within our district that don't get written about by Justin Murphy. And and so, you know, we acknowledge the great work that you all do, and so we thank you all very much. And I'm hoping that as we move into your senior year, that work that you want to see done within our district, that we can really begin to operationalize that work. So thank you very much what you do. The next item on the agenda is a report from our Bilingual Education Council. So is someone from the Bilingual Education? Hello, come on in. You can share it right from the podium. I know that.
I know, but he said that on record, so we should correct that. 'Cause that was
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Pablo Sierra. I'm a parent at School 12. I have 3 young children there, and I was just elected as VP for the Bilingual Education Council, so this is my first rodeo. And tonight I will read a statement from our president, Divet Garcia, who unfortunately is at a training out of state, and she could not be with us here tonight. So what follows are her words. The Bilingual Education Council is made up of bilingual parents, community organizations, and educators who represent and advocate for the educational rights to a quality bilingual education for our students in the district. For this reason, it is vital that the board and administration understand that both parents and community organizations represented on the council are committed to that goal. The BEC is both, parents and community. Our last meeting was held on Tuesday, June 13th. More than 14 participants attended and actively participating, asking questions and sharing their ideas. We had a representative from Amira at the meeting who oriented parents with regards to the reading program in English and Spanish for K-5 students. Also, Assistant Principal Mark Davis presented on all the programs offered for adults at Oasis. Parents were amazed that this resource was available and free to them. We also had CPAC, PLAC, and children's agendas presenting their parent groups and connecting with the BEC for future collaborations. I understand that the bilingual department of the RCSD is assigned a budget. We, the BEC, are part of that department. Often we need items for the educational tables that we set up to participate in events, such as district fairs, or simply being in the community. And many times we have to pay for these things out of pocket when we are supposed to have a budget. The same is true of our monthly meetings. I understand that each federal and state subsidy has specific rules. We also want to do activities for parents and students. We need your cooperation to hold events that educate, motivate, and benefit our bilingual families that are part of the school district. Specifically, we want to meet with the executive director of grants to propose our ideas and to understand how we can finance them. Moving on, I want to notify that as president of the BEC, I have written a letter to the superintendent and Board of Education leadership expressing my concern that the council, that the Bilingual Council, was not involved, as they should have been, in the selection of the new principal for school number 17. They called me at the last minute, and unfortunately, the short notice does not allow enough time for me to attend and involve the other parents on the council. This always feels like a rubber stamp on someone else's personal agenda and is not intended to engage the BEC in any meaningful way. So our president, Divet Garcia, sent the following message to the board and the superintendent last week. First, she says, I want to remind you that everything I do is voluntary and that I take from my time to represent the BEC and the Hispanic community to advocate for them. As a mother myself, I am able to understand many of the situations my community faces daily. My children are my priority. And as many of you know, I am the mother of 3 students, one of them with severe autism and aggressive behavior. Having said this, I want to emphasize that every time I participate in a meeting or event related to parents or the district, it is necessary for me to plan accordingly with my family for my child in order to be able to participate in my responsibilities as a BEC representative. My personal situation is not easy at this moment, and even though I make the decision to help others, my personal situation is quite difficult at the moment. It is for this reason that I want to emphasize that I need to be notified in advance to be able to make the necessary arrangements in order to participate and not be called at the last moment and then to find out that I do not have an interpreter assigned. I have been in conversations with the teachers at School 17 about the uncomfortable situation that is being experienced in that school due to others' agendas. Needless to say, my participation with the School 17 hiring process had no interpreter to assist me. I ended up giving an opinion, thinking that the position was for a colleague in the bilingual department who is an excellent professional and who is currently applying for a position in the district. Unfortunately, my recommendation was not for the person who was assigned. And all this happened without going through the due process that includes the Bilingual Council's recommendation. Again, there was no BEC participation in the School 17 interview. We were not given time to review the candidate's resume, and we were not even able to meet, thus violating council bylaws. I feel that our rights as parents were violated by not carrying out the processes in an orderly and transparent manner, which makes me very disappointed. I'm disappointed that the parents and the Bilingual Council are not given adequate participation in the administrative processes and decisions that are made in what is related to our children's schools. And this concludes Divette Garcia's report for the Bilingual Education Council. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Vice President Braun.
Yes, I just want to put this out there to my colleagues and to the public and to our parent groups listening tonight. I am going to be requesting, as we move forward, sort of an audit of these processes, because we have parent groups and then we have the Bilingual Education Council, which distinguishes itself very differently from our other parent groups, which does not afford you the same rights as the other two groups that fall under the Board of Education and under the District for the Office of Parent Engagement. In addition, I realized actually last week when I was at work, of all places, going through files and came across some minutes, if you will, that we as a board, I have never seen minutes, attendance of the meetings, who's attending these meetings. What we hear is a group name. And what I saw was that for months on end, for some of these minutes, it was only 3 or 4 people. And 3 of those people were employees of the district. But reports were coming to us under the guise of this name. And so I share that tonight because as we move forward, and I also did some digging, we are going to be held accountable as a board and as a district to any funds that we do with any groups if we have no evidence of any of these activities, again, minutes, attendance of events, but attendance of the meetings as well. And since you're representing the public, just like we are representing the public, those minutes should be made available on our website. Attendance should be available on our website. And I do think there's just, I'm going to be requesting an audit of that process, those groups, and how they're tied back to our budget as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment, employment status of a specific individual, collective bargaining, and/or to discuss matters of concern with the General Counsel. It's been moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All any opposed? So we will go into executive session. We will be back shortly to reconvene the meeting. Thank you very much. IGR report, the Vice President is away, but will be back, and we'll go to, I guess we'll come back to that and go to the superintendent's report. So we will start with, let me just welcome Marlene Blocker to the table, but we'll start with Superintendent Peluso's presentation. Dr. Peluso?
Thank you, President Elliott, and good evening to you, Vice President LeBron, Board Commissioners, families, staff, students, all watching and joining us on social media. I want to start this report by extending a heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2023 for reaching the significant milestones in their educational journey. In this moment of celebration, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our parents, families, teachers, and staff who have played a huge role in shaping the success of our seniors. As these young men and women embark on the next chapter of their lives, I have every confidence that each and every one of them will make a remarkable impact on the future. Countdown to graduation. To showcase the class of 2023, we launched our second annual Countdown to Graduation this month. It's a series of short videos that feature graduating seniors from each high school who exemplify the qualities of their school and program. The graduating seniors share their experiences in the RCSD, including how their schools have impacted their decisions for their future careers. These videos are truly remarkable. They're great insights. I encourage you to visit our YouTube page at www.rcsdk12.org/YouTube to see these amazing and inspiring videos. Although we're here celebrating the end of a school year, we are kicking off our summer hiring events, and we're actively seeking talented individuals from our community to join the RCSD. We are committed to attracting top talents, and we offer competitive compensation. To apply, all applicants need to bring is a resume that highlights their qualification and experience. Join us as we build a vibrant and inclusive community within the RCSD, and you could see already some of our hiring events that we anticipate to do this summer. One of our most exciting initiatives, and last week I was honored to announce this extraordinary partnership that will revolutionize healthcare services for the students in our district and fund advanced telemedicine units in all RCSD schools. Using telemedicine, students can access triage and assessments for acute and chronic health issues, including mental health, and follow-up and receive follow-ups at school. Funding from this comes from the RCSD, Monroe County, and ESL Federal Credit Union. We also announced the receipt of a grant from the New York State Office of Mental Health that will expand the number of student health centers in the district from 7 to 16. These new health centers will provide medical, social, emotional, and mental health service for the students. By investing in these expanded health centers and telemedicine units, we are sending a resounding message. Our students' mental health matters, and we're committed to their overall well-being. We're also committed to making sure that we provide access, easy access, and more that is more accessible to our families. I'm a numbers person, math person, and this one fills me with great pride to see the joy of our students' faces when they played the 24 game. It's been a long time that we've come together, and our students finally had the opportunity to showcase their exceptional math skills at our district-wide math competition at school number 7 earlier this month. We also had 3 students from school number 25 compete in a statewide competition back in April. So using 4 different numbers, students can add, subtract, multiply, or divide to arrive at a final result of 24. It was great to see so much excitement and enthusiasm around this game and our students' commitment to learning. More than 500 students from 10 schools had a very unique experience learning about science aboard the new boat in the Genesee River. The Riverie is Cornhill Navigation's newest tour boat that started running on June 6th. Students from School 12 took one of the first trips with Mayor Malik Evans, and 5th grade students from all across the district have been working in collaboration with instructors from RIT, the U of R, and St. John Fisher to do water quality chemistry science experiments. Students went on a 90-minute ride where they studied the biological, chemical, and physical characteristics of water. This allowed our students to step outside and engage in hands-on project-based learning. Really, one of my most fun opportunities I had this spring was accompanying a group of students to a statewide symposium held in Albany aimed at empowering boys and young men of color to unlock their full potential. The My Brother's Keeper Symposium showcased exceptional students from Rochester who will not only serve as mentors, they will develop impactful service projects and foster skills that will benefit both their schools and the Rochester community. The participating students in this year's symposium were from Early College, Edison, Northeast, Wilson, and World of Inquiry. We're honored to hear from State Education Commissioner Betty Rosa and newly appointed Regent Adrian Hale, who is from Rochester. The Just Law program, the future of RCSD shines bright thanks to the remarkable talents of our students. Recently, I joined 12 of them to celebrate their participation in the Just Law program. They were winners of an essay contest, and their speeches included a wide range of topics from civil rights to cyberbullying and the importance of criminal justice reform. Throughout the school year, local judges devoted their time to visiting 12 of our schools, guiding and enlightening students in grades 6 to 9 about the law and the nation's legal system. These speeches were truly remarkable, touching, and their personal experience, so I thank them for sharing. The Pride of Rochester Marching Band. The captivating sounds of RCSD will fill the streets of our nation's capital next month. I'm excited to share with you that the Pride of Rochester Marching Band has been chosen to participate in this year's Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. This is an This is an incredible honor for the 49 talented students in the band. Congressman Joe Morelli nominated the band to represent the 25th Congressional District. This will be the first time the band has been selected to participate in the parade, and thanks to a grant from the Konar Foundation and work with the Rochester Educational Foundations, that's what made this possible. Students in 5th through 12th grade have showcased their musical talents in various community parades, district events, and field band shows across New York. Now, the whole country will be able to see and hear how good our band is, and congratulations, that's remarkable. Continuing with our music theme, we really are privileged to have exceptional students in our district, and another shining example is Stephanie Bukaru. She's an 8th grade student at the School of the Arts, and she has received the prestigious Musical Instrument Award from the Rochester Education Foundation. In recognition of her ability, hard work, and determination, she was presented with a double bass at the Eastman School of Music. Stephanie has committed herself to becoming a better bass player. In just her few years as a student at the Eastman Community Music School's Pathway program, she has already made great strides, including a solo performance in her middle school orchestra. I commend Stephanie for her exceptional talent and dedication. Congratulations. Tonight, there's a resolution in front of you for considerations involving a new contract for the RAP employees. This contract helps with the recruitment, retention, growth, development, and care of our RAP membership, which is comprised of paraprofessional and teacher's assistants. Highlights of the 3-year contract include the following: general salary increases for all members, increase in compensation when teaching assistants act as a substitute for a classroom teacher, creation of a 3-year pilot of a lead mentor teacher assistant to provide professional support and guidance to RAP members, and paid training to special education paraprofessionals and teacher assistants. We are incredibly fortunate to have the commitment and dedication of 5 individuals that have chosen to continue their journey with us. We shared some information in December about the Rock Urban Teacher Fellow Program, in which it is an innovative teacher residency initiative designed to help ease the shortage of educators in Rochester. We form partnerships with Nazareth University, the U of R, where graduate students are paid a district salary with benefits and provided $10,000 towards their college tuition. All 5 teachers signed contracts during ceremonies earlier this month at school number 23. Our fellows have been teachers at school number 15, school 23, school 35, and East High School. As mentioned earlier, I'd have to take this moment to offer a heartfelt congratulations to Mike Schmidt, our Chief Operating Officer, on his retirement from the district effective July 1. Mike has demonstrated remarkable dedication and leadership with more than 20 years of experience in education and public service roles. Overseeing the management and supervision of all of our facilities is no small task. He's worked with diverse communities to manage educational and citywide academic, operational, and technology projects. On behalf of the entire district, I extend my deepest gratitude to Mike for his outstanding service and unwavering commitment to our students. He will be missed. That concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Paluso. And the next superintendent's report is from now Superintendent Blocker. And before I have her to report, I had a misstep. I should have, there are no other board reports there, so I'll get back to that after Superintendent Blocker's report. So excuse me for that oversight. Superintendent Blocker, welcome to your first meeting. As superintendent.
Thank you. Thank you, President Elliott, and thank you. Thank you, President Elliott, and thank you to all members that are watching tonight. We would like to share in some celebrations that have taken place here at East. We had graduation that took place last Thursday night, and Commissioner Adams was there with us. Thank you, Commissioner Adams. We had a packed house for our outside graduation ceremony. It was our 120th ceremony, and it was just a lovely evening of celebration of the tremendous work our scholars have done over the last 4 years. We'd like to recognize several students. We had 13 scholars that received the seal of biliteracy, showing their skill in 2 languages, in reading, writing, and speaking. We had 18 scholars that received the seal of civic readiness. We had 23 scholars that earned the Advanced Regents Diploma, and we had 12 scholars that earned the CTE Seal of Endorsement. We would like to congratulate our valedictorian, Anna Fontan, and our salutatorian, Elijah Delgado. We had 4 seniors that passed the national exam for phlebotomy. You see there Martha, Aaron, Lulu, and Jabasi. They are now fully employable as phlebotomists and will be interviewing with the URMC in the next few weeks. We had several students that earned Ibero scholarships: Alejandro, Jemmy Lynn, Talia, Anna, Martha, Elijah, Lazaro, and Alondra in various amounts. So congratulations to our Ibero scholarship recipients. We had our next group of inductees that for the eyes of our ancestors. They were, their portraits were put up in our courtyard. There are 13 of them. Sean Dunwoody, a local artist, worked on those, and it's just an amazing project that was based on Zora Neale Thurston's novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Nydia Padilla Rodriguez, Stacy Adams, Sean Corey Carter, known as Jay-Z, Gloria Langston, Andrew Langston, Huey P. Newton, Loretta Scott, David F. Gant, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Pedro Albazu Campos, Roberto Clemente, Celia Cruz, and Dr. Sean Nelms. So congratulations to all of those. There's a picture of them in the courtyard. Anyone in the community is invited to come and look at that. It's just a beautiful display and an example of people that have been trailblazers that have set the stage for our kids to follow in their shoes. And then lastly, we just wanted to celebrate with a student, Patty Hirsch. She made that woodworking club come to life with the board that she created. We've been fortunate at East that we run many different after-school programs, anime, improv, Icy Eagles dance, to really find ways to get our kids involved in the school year. And this was what she completed as a result of her work with one of our teachers, Logan Newman. And then in closing, I would just like to say congratulations to Mike Schmidt and Dan DiClemente, and then just a true appreciation to Dr. Sean Nelms for his commitment for the last 8 years at East. He did a remarkable job of leading us, advocating for our scholars every step of the way, and I'm truly proud to take over as the second superintendent, and I look forward to more great things happening and collaborating closely with the RCSD. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Blocker. I'm going to just open it up for, I'm going to open it up for questions for either Dr. Peluso or Superintendent Blocker. I'll start with Commissioner Malloy.
Thank you. And this is for Superintendent Blocker. I just wanted to publicly give you and your staff a thank you for moving so quickly on an opportunity that came to your culinary program. And I just want to say thank you to your staff for making that happen for several students. New York Kitchen in Canandaigua hosted a learning day, right, to expose kids from Rochester to careers in the culinary field, but also local farms. And an opportunity came our way, and one of your teachers used his own time to accompany these students and I think it really shows and highlights the commitment that so many of our teachers, all of our teachers, have to our students. And I want to say thank you to you to making sure that the transportation was provided and the kids were able to take advantage of that last-minute opportunity. So thank you to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Any other questions for for either superintendent or Commissioner Adams?
No, I don't have a question. I just have a statement that maybe everybody don't know, but a few years ago, Superintendent Blocker was retiring, and she reached inside herself and stayed on some extra time so that my kids could get that experience and other kids as well. And now she's reached in again, and I just have to say publicly, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for either superintendent? Thank you. Superintendent Blocker and Dr. Peluso. And so because I was remiss, we're going to go back to the board reports, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Simmons for the ESA committee report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to just read off on this report. The Equity and Student Achievement Committee met as a whole on Tuesday, June 13th. During that particular meeting, the board reviewed and accepted minutes from the May 16th ESA meeting. The RCSD academic and financial plan updates were presented by State Monitor Dr. Shelley Jallo. A public hearing took place this evening at 5:30 to receive feedback from parents, students, in the community. That opportunity was available. And so we did hear from a couple folks. And finally, Deputy Superintendent Strickland presented and provided updates on English language learners and multilingual learners. ELL students' demographic information was provided. Currently, RCSD serves approximately 5,200 students from multilingual families representing over 60 languages. A desire to expand foreign languages afforded to RCSD students was expressed by commissioners, and the next ESA committee meeting will take place on Tuesday, August 8th at 5:30 p.m. That concludes my report, but before I move on, if you don't mind,
Sure.
President Elliott, I just wanted to take a moment this evening to, as a collective board, to share our condolences with the loss of life from School 16, the little baby RJ. I grew up with some of his aunties and uncles, and he's well known in this community. The family is well known, and he passed away recently. His name is Ryan Grantham, lovingly known as RJ. They call him Bear. And, you know, if the city's got a bunch of green going on, that's what it's for. So I just wanted to just extend a few moments of silence for that 6-year-old baby. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President LeBron for the Finance Committee report.
Yes, thank you. The Finance Committee met as Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, June 27, 2023, and during that meeting, the committee discussions focused on the following items. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes from the April 25th, 2023 Finance Committee of the Whole meeting. The Rochester Joint School Construction Board member, Tom Richards, provided a facilities modernization program update. The presentation discussed Phase 3 of the plan, which includes approval of a program manager that will be before us tonight, resolution. The Board of Education's approval of Phase 3 is scheduled for today, and City Council's approval is scheduled for July 18, 2023. Medicaid Compliance Officer Michael Sousa provided the annual Medicaid compliance presentation. Mr. Sousa shared recommendations as well as audit and revenue information to the board. Chef Farr reviewed the May 2023 unaudited financial report, which included projected charter school enrollments and expenses. And at this time, can I have a motion to approve the district's unaudited May 2023 financial report and May 2023 claims audit report? So there's two.
Second.
Yes, so motions by President Elliott, second by Commissioner Simmons. All those, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Other reports provided for the review on Tuesday night included the May 2023 Claims Audit Report, the July 2023 Draft Resolutions Packet, and the next in-person Finance Committee meeting is August 15, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. And I'll turn it over now to Commissioner Powell for the Policy Committee report.
Sure, thank you. The Policy Committee met as a committee of the whole on June 6th. As usual, we have a whole list of resolutions that are in the pipeline. We will be voting on two policies tonight, the Code of Conduct and students with HIV-related illness. During that meeting on Tuesday, we advanced 8 more policies for their first readings, which will be tonight, as amended, and 1 that's being recommended for rescission. We have 3 policies that are in the pipeline for their second reading in unfinished business, and we'll go through each of those policies by number when we get to old and new business. And so in addition to the 2 policies that are being amended in tonight's resolution, we also have 2 policies that are being recommended as additions that were recommended by NYSBA and well, the library selection was recommended by NYSBA, and the student policy goals was essentially crafted with 95% of it was input from the students in SLC. Our next Policy Committee meeting will be Tuesday, August 1st, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Powell, and I will summarize my president's report. I just want to, along with Dr. Nelms, Dr. Peluso, and Superintendent Blocker, to congratulate all of our graduates of the class of 2023. Those ceremonies are always just so heartwarming. I attended the Rochester International Academy graduation, School Without Walls, and Franklin Upper. And so let me just also say that I also, while I was congratulating those students, I also made a statement to hold them accountable. So because we were having some parents to come to our schools and fight I made some statements at those meetings that those are not the places that we expect parents to air their issues with other parents within the district, not during a time when we are celebrating our students. And I use the term at one of the graduations, I think it was School Without Walls, that we've got some parents that are acting a fool. And we're not going to tolerate that. And that means that if we've got some parents who are expressing this kind of behavior in those kind of special places, then this board and this superintendent is going to have to make different kinds of decisions. We don't want to do that, but we will no longer tolerate parents, some parents, coming in this district, even wanting to go past our security guards to fight other students, or to have these students out on off city district grounds fighting. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. And so I made those statements at in 2 of those schools that we can no longer tolerate that, because we want this school to be a place where we're educating our kids and that they're not learning this behavior that we have some of our parents doing. And they're not caring for the kids who are in these special kinds of places. And so I made those statements at least 2 of those graduation ceremonies, and then, came back to congratulate them, our students, for graduating from the district. And I also offered them to return to our district or the city in order to give their talents to the city. We had a budget presentation, as you all know, to City Council. Unfortunately, while the superintendent did a great job, I think everybody did a great job on presenting our budget. Unfortunately, it did not pass at the regular meeting, 3-4-2. I reached out to a couple of those board members, council members, and asked why they did not support our budget. They said because, our children are still not reading on grade level, and so we've got some work to do there. We had an amazing board retreat with State Monitor Dr. Jallo. She talked to us about, establishing SMART goals, and so I'm looking forward for us continuing that work. And one of the things I sent you all last night, commissioners, is to see if we can meet each week in the month of August so we can develop these goals and have them ready for September. And so I didn't hear from anybody, at least I don't think I heard from anybody. So if you're okay with it, we will schedule those meetings in August. And then I met with the executive committee of the Conference of Big Five, talking about issues impacting, the districts of Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, Yonkers, New York, and affiliates Albany and Utica. We voted on the budget for the Council of Big Five, Conference of Big Five, and just keep watch out for an announcement that's going to be forthcoming next week. And then I've held meetings with the State Monitor, Dr. Peluso, General Counsel Neal, our district clerk, and regular board officers meetings. And I also visited for the month of June, RISE and RIA, and we had our last leadership meeting at School 5, and just want to thank Principal Hammond and her staff for the great work that they're doing over there, and just want to thank School 5 for hosting us. We've thanked our colleagues who are going to be leaving us, and I would just like to say to all of them, great success to all of you in your future endeavors. We also had a chance, although, he thought he was going to get away with it, that, we were going to not celebrate Dr. Peluso's birthday. So we just want to wish Dr. Peluso a very happy birthday and many, many more. I don't know how he thought he was going to get away with that. That was not going to happen on my watch. So, and then I just found out we got another birthday. Our district clerk, Rahima Wynn, just had a birthday as well. So we want to say happy birthday to her. I didn't know about that one till today, but it's tomorrow. All right, so we'll hook that. We'll get that right. So just wanted to share that, and that concludes my president's report. Commissioner Adams, you have anything?
So I do have one response to president's report. I was kind of concerned about a weekly meeting for goals. I support SMART goals, but
Yeah.
a weekly meeting?
I'm thinking because just, no, for August, we looking at, what I'm thinking is we need to get that work done. Now, if we can get it done sooner, but you know, when you're talking about SMART goals, it's work that we got to do. So all I'm talking about is the month of August, if we can do that on a weekly basis to work on those goals so that we can have them ready for September. Now, if they're, you know, you all can have a conversation with me or email me after the fact, yeah. Yeah. So, you know, just want to get that done, so it's done, yeah, so.
Can I make a comment about your report?
Sure.
I just want to state, though, in regards to city council voting against the budget, and to use the lame, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and opinion of just one commissioner, it's a lame excuse, because I've said this many times, the reading scores are reflective of what the reading scores have always been in the entire history of this district. So to use that as an excuse, but to be irresponsible about voting for a budget without a real valid reason also hurts the city's ability to go out and borrow against capital and their Moody rating. I think it's irresponsible of those elected who voted against the budget for arbitrary reasons, petty reasons even, and I just had to put that on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just also say, I didn't include it in the report, but we do have, I believe I have scheduled to meet with President Melendez sometime in July. And one of the things that I'd like to talk to him about, if there's an issue that we have with literacy, then how do we do it as a city, not only as a school district? And I'm talking to some other folk about that. So, and safety, that's another issue that we'll be discussing as well. So thank you all very much. We will go to consideration of resolutions. And so, so I'm going to ask for a motion for resolutions 786 through 793. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments regarding resolutions 786 through 794?
Right here.
Commissioner Malloy?
More of a point of personal privilege, more than anything else, but I wanted to congratulate all of our retirees, especially Mike Schmidt. Yeah. And I'd like to give a shout out just to Sheila Webster, who has personally had such a positive impact on my own family and for the many years of work that she has done. But to all of our retirees, congratulations.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Commissioner Malloy said, when I was here earlier today, who did I run into in the basement? But I think she was, the last position was Chief Webster. So she said that, you know, she's made an agreement with her family that she's going to be off at least a year. So maybe we can call her after a year. So yes, I concur with you, Commissioner Malloy. Vice President LeBron?
I want to echo Commissioner Malloy and your sentiments on Sheila, but I also want to uplift Vicki Griffin, who has been our textbook coordinator forever and a day. It's one of those positions that's kind of tucked away at Edison, but really services the entire district and other systems, and oftentimes just her and a very small team and her fighting for students to have the ability to have this experience and providing them summer opportunities and jobs. And I think it is a huge loss for us to have Vicki go, but I just want to personally thank her for her endless sacrifices to this job and to this district, and just thank her, because I do think, again, she's one of those key people in this district that is oftentimes faceless and nameless to a lot of individuals who are positively impacted by her work and her dedication. So thank you, Vicki, and congratulations to all the retirees.
Thank you, Vice President LeBron. Any other questions or comments related to Resolution 786 through 794? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion for Resolutions 795 through 808?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to Resolutions 795 through 808? So I had a question with regard to, there were some amendments and the probationary period was changed. I think it went from 25 through until 2024. For example, looking at, I believe it's Resolution 808.
Good evening, President Elliott. In those cases, what educators have a responsibility to do if they join us from another district, at the time of hire, they may not have provided proof of prior tenure. And so once they are hired into the system and they provide that proof, if they were previously tenured as a teacher, their probationary period is reduced by law from 4 to 3 years. And so these were cases where the employees provided that proof after their board appointment.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments related to resolutions 809 through 795 through 808? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 809 through 815?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments regarding the EPO resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 816 through 838, including Resolution 517?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to those resolutions? Yes. Vice President LeBron.
For number 838, on Tuesday, if you all recall, when former Mayor Tom Richards, who now chairs the Facilities Modernization Board, came and presented, I did have some follow-up with the administration, and they were able to provide me written sort of, not confirmation or a verbal yes, because the state can't vote on these resolutions, but they were presented with this individual's name, and the response was that it was all good. They wished us luck, and good luck on the vote tonight. And I just had to put that on record, because my experience right now, I'm feeling like when we have met with the state, depending on who we meet with, we can trust that their word is their bond. For others, it's amnesia or flip-flopping on positions. And I just know that when you and I met with them last year, first coming into these leadership roles, that certain things were mentioned and said, and I won't go into them tonight, but my biggest concern was that we vote on this, and then the state turns around and says, wait a minute, we had some conversations with you all and expressed some concerns, and then we move forward with the same group or individuals involved. And I just have to put that on record, because I do not want later down the line that there's an issue. I'm going to be supporting this tonight, but I am satisfied with what we currently have in writing. But at this point, I do think as we move forward with the state, we should be redefining the relationship, that the expectations are not that we jump when they say jump, and then when roles are reversed or flipped, we don't get some common decency, not only on notice and time, but some of the issues that they sometimes have bubbled up are issues that they could have addressed with us in a different way. And so I just want us to be mindful as we move forward, but to know that we've done our due diligence to get something confirming that they had an opportunity to express concerns before this vote tonight, and that they didn't. And that their feedback was just good luck and good luck with the resolution passing. That was all the feedback that they gave. So I say that because I know we also sometimes forget in the hustle and bustle months later from now that this conversation ever even happened, or that what happened last year. So I just had to put that on record tonight, because I'm going to remember that it was the night that Mike Schmidt retired, in case I need to pull it back up for the record. So thank you. That's all I wanted to state.
Thank you, Vice President. Any other questions or comments related to resolutions 816 through 838, including 517? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for some IM&T resolutions, 839 and 840? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by, was that Commissioner Simmons?
But I'll second it.
Any questions or comments related to resolutions 839 and 840? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 841 through 844?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 841 through 844? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 845 through 848?
Motion. Oh, second.
Moved by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to those resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion for resolutions 849 through 856?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 849 through 856? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a resolution, a motion for resolutions 857 through 876?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President
Second.
LeBron. Is there seconded by Commissioner Malloy? Any questions or comments related to resolutions 857 through 876? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion for resolutions 877 through 887?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to resolutions, let me go back up, 877 through 887?
Just one comment.
Commissioner Malloy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say hooray for extra pay for librarians. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments related to those resolutions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 888 through, they keep coming, 913?
Motion.
Is it seconded, moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to these resolutions? 888 through 913. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, it carries. Is there a motion for resolution 914 and 915?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 914 and 915? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion for resolutions 916 through 919?
So
Motion.
move.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded
Second.
by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 916 through 919? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye to 917, 918 for me, and D, but nay to 916.
That's okay.
Just nay to 916 and a yes to the rest of the resolutions that were motioned.
You good? Yes. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for resolutions 920 through 923?
So moved. Motion.
Second.
Okay, moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. Any questions or comments related to these resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that concludes the commission, the resolutions, and so we'll go down to now have Commissioner Powell talk about the second readings. If you want to talk about that,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Okay, so we have three policies in the second reading. I'm not going to take them in order. I want to dispense with the easier ones first. The first one is Policy 3120, Duties of the Superintendent. This has been through the subcommittee, committee, and one prior reading for the public. For those who are watching, we will be voting on these next three next month. If you have any concerns, that would be the time and the last opportunity to register your remarks on these policies. But with regard to Policy 3120, are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Hearing none, the next one I'd like to bring to the floor is Policy 5220, Student Publications. Again, it's been discussed at length, and the students of FLC have specifically had an opportunity to weigh in. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments from my colleagues on 5220? Hearing none, I'd like to call your attention to Policy 5153. There are 4 separate documents in board docs, and I'm going to ask our board clerk to open the most recent of those. If you'll recall, last month we wordsmithed the final paragraph together, and I asked for a resolution to change the language of the review and reporting paragraph. Madam Clerk, if you could...
I'm calling.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Clerk, if you would be able to go to the last page and zoom it to about 200%, that'd be about right for people to see it. After our meeting last month, there was some concern during the meeting and more discussion after about what the appropriate date for annual review. And it kind of fleshed out that the timing is important so that the school profile books can be published for the following year. So rather than framing it as arbitrary, we're rewording it to basically demonstrate that we need to backward plan. So it reads that the administration shall review and present such recommendations to the board in sufficient time for the board to act upon those recommendations by October 31st. So the goal is to, in framing it that way, it's not arbitrary. It gives then the administration time based on the board's decision-making to revise the profile books. And I think it makes a bit more sense in doing it that way. In the draft that we have before us, there's a little bit of a grammar issue on the 5th line. Currently says, this data is including. It should probably read, this data shall include. And so this is what's being offered as a substitution for what we discussed last month. And we'd like to have it, that substitution ratified by this body prior to it coming to a vote next month. Are there any concerns with how I framed that? Any concerns with the logic of it, the language of it? Again, if you're in board docs, if you open the last of the 4 files and look at the very last paragraph, you'll see it's all highlighted in blue. Is everyone comfortable with that language? In which case, could I have a motion? I think our clerk has a resolution number assigned.
Excuse me, before, Commissioner Powell, just to add in our prior conversation, so last month when you all made the change and it went to a resolution, that number was erroneously given to a different resolution, so we just need to go back and amend. I can give both numbers. It would be 920, hold on one moment. Yep, so it'd be 924 for, well, let's do it in reverse, excuse me. Let's do 924 for last month's and then 925 for this change. That clarifies.
Okay, so it's not, so the amendment to the resolution number is not embedded in the resolution that you're offering up?
It will be. We will have to adjust and amend the resolution to include that.
Okay. I'm pulling up the language of our, so you're asking us to set aside 923 for the moment and go back and correct the record for last month?
So 923 was voted on, that was assigned to the prior batch. This resolution would be 924. Okay. Yes, however, because of the mistake from last month, I'm asking that we either reassign the number, so 924 is the first one, and then 925 would be this one, kind of making logical sense, or we could leave it 924 in the reverse.
Right. So, just to be clear, what the clerk is asking, Commissioner Adams, would you be willing to set aside your motion for a moment? Yes. Okay. So what the clerk is asking is that we move to correct the resolution number from last month from 23 to 24. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion. Second.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, second by Commissioner Malloy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And now we can entertain Commissioner Adams's resolution to adopt the language before us today.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Adams.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Malloy. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, okay. Thank you. That would take us to first readings, Madam President?
Well, we still have a motion here, a resolution 923. So can I?
That's what we just.
That's
did.
what, oh, okay,
That's basically what we just.
okay.
did.
But I thought you had mentioned 924, 925, so that's why I was thinking.
923 was already assigned to another resolution.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Sure.
So the items that are on first readings, and again for the public, that gives you an opportunity next month to speak to the board about any of these. And then finally, in August, we expect to vote on these. The first is Policy 1200, Community Involvement. Are there any concerns, comments, or questions on Policy 1200?
Might this have anything to do, or could this be applied to Vice President LeBron, some of the concerns she brought up earlier this evening in relation to some of our parent groups?
Well, I think we'd have to defer to our general counsel. Could we capture that question in?
Yeah, perhaps for the question log.
The question log.
I'm just curious
Could we?
to find out where those policies are.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to make a comment about them like on the fly.
Right.
But, yeah, okay,
I think it's worth pursuing.
thank you. Any other comments on 1200? Hearing none, Policy 4095, High School to Higher Education Institutions Policy. this isn't marked up quite as radically as the previous policy. There's almost nothing left of the previous policy. Just some wordsmithing here. Any concerns, questions, or comments? Hearing none, we'll go on to policy 4326, alternative and homebound instruction. There's a little bit of fine tuning here that came from our teaching and learning. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns on policy 4327? Are we, is it a sidebar or, okay. Policy 4710, grading systems. This is a pretty important one that was driven by Dr. Jallo's academic plan, that's not the right word. Any questions, comments, or concerns on policy 4710? There is some new language. You'll see it's highlighted in blue in the board docs. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Yes, Commissioner Malloy.
Just regarding, the grading systems. So just with regard to various grading systems, I see that it says teachers shall follow uniform grading practices across the district to be developed by the superintendent. Is that not happening right now at this time?
And is there a superintendent's reg?
So no, the grading is determined by the individual class teacher. We're trying to get our, to make sure that homework is, what percentage is class participation, should it be in there, no, like to make sure that we have some strong guidelines on what should be included in a grade.
And when would we expect to have more of a uniform policy? I know a lot of districts are exploring equity and grading, and...
So you're asking when will we see a regulation?
Pardon me?
You're asking when will we see a superintendent's regulation?
I know this is just a first reading, but at the same time, like, are we talking about ideally 5 years from now? I mean, this is, we're creating policy, but do we want to wait 5 years to have said policy?
Well, and in fact, there are some instances where it's important enough that regulations be presented with the policy so we know what the specifics are. Mm-hmm.
So part of the graduation audit was updating our ASAP policy, which also has some of these in there, and we're in the process of updating the ASAP policy. The graduation audit is in line with the monitor's recommendations as well, so all of those are tied together. That's going with the course catalog as well, so all of those are in the graduation audit findings that were shared with you that have definitive timelines on them as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't mean to speak in hyperbole, but, the public watching, they want to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other concerns about the policy 4710 grading systems? Hearing none, the next policy is 4750, promotion and retention of students. So this is basically a discussion on social promotion. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I just want to make a comment that I am looking forward to having additional dialogue around social promotion and what that needs to look like in this district, knowing that in the earlier grades, children, something is happening there and they're being socially promoted and they're getting into higher grade levels and then not able to do the work. And then our educators are in a position where they're trying to catch students up with these huge learning gaps. It's not fair to educators, it's not fair to students, and I know that there's a shared responsibility among parents, students, educators, like the whole system, including the board and the type of decisions we make, but social promotion needs to be addressed in this district along with early grade literacy, and I'm about to just speak up and speak out on it. I'm taking that on. Fundamentally, whoever wants to join me, whatever that needs to look like, but we need to get our children reading, and I don't care about the historical ramifications of how this district was founded and the fact that it didn't exist. It needs to exist, and it needs to exist ASAP. It needs to exist now for our students. And Black and brown children should not be walking around in this community not reading. They should not be graduating from high school not reading. So I don't mean to get on a soapbox, but social promotion, that gets me going.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Okay. The next policy in the packet is 4772, graduation ceremonies. And in fact, we did not have a graduation ceremonies policy prior, so this is it's not to say we weren't doing a fine job, we just didn't have a policy on it. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, the next policy, 4850, use of animals in science instruction. Here we're specifically talking about dissections, not emotional support animals or some other such thing. Okay? Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, the last in our packet for first readings, and one thing keeping us from leaving the building is policy 8400, transportation of students and others. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns about this? This is a fairly lengthy policy. But it's one we've had for some time. It's just had a little bit of tweaking done. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none. Madam President, that concludes the, let me take that back. There's one other one. There's a proposal to rescind policy 4090, Pathways to High School Success. This was an initiative of Dr. Janey's way back 20 years ago that was somewhat superseded by changes to the Board of Regents and, their, 3, 4, and 5-year graduation paths. So the proposal is to rescind this policy. Any comments, questions, or concerns about that proposal? Hearing none, Madam President, that concludes the first read, the new business.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. That is the last of the items on the agenda. I will just ask that folks complete the excuse me, that people complete the board survey. But is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Adams. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.